Welcome my dear student. This is a new episode for English for Prep 1. أهلا وسهلا بطلبة الصف الأول الاعدادي. هذه حلقة جديدة من مادة اللغة الإنجليزية تحت رعاية وإشراف وزارة التربية والتعليم. We're still in Unit 1, My Family and Me. Let's continue. We have lesson 4 and 5 and 6 in this episode. عندنا الدرس الرابع والخامس والسادس في هذه الحلقة. But before we start, قبل ما نبتدي, let's revise what we have covered last time. هنعرف ايه اللي غطيناه وعرفناه مع بعض المرة اللي فاتت. We learned how to use present simple correctly and how we learned to listen to a conversation about families that are not always together. سمعنا conversation عن عائلة آية وسامي. And we understand a video about chess. Let's know what we are going to learn today. تعالوا هنعرف ايه النهارده وهنتعلم ايه مع بعض النهارده. So we are going to read and understand a short story. هنقرا مع بعض نفهم مع بعض short story and we are going to write a paragraph about a person in your family correctly. هنعرف ازاي ممكن اتكلم على فرد من افراد عائلتي واكتب عنه paragraph بشكل صحيح. And number 3, we are going to understand a text about the life of a gymnast. هنتعلم ونقرا مع بعض عن قصة حياة لاعب جمباز معروف. Let's start. We're going to start by reading a story. When we are reading this story, there are going to be some new words. النيو words والvocab دولت احنا مش هنشرحهم قبل الستوري. I want you to guess their meaning. عايزاكوا تخمنوا المعنى بتاعهم من التكست من النص. They are going to be in a different color. حاطينهم بألوان مختلفة and we need you to understand their meaning from the text. وعايزين نتعلم ازاي اقرا تكست وافهم الكلمات الجديدة من السياق. Let's read together. Heidi is a story about an orphan girl. Heidi is a story about an orphan girl. She goes to live with her grandfather in Switzerland. She goes to live with her grandfather in Switzerland. Her grandfather is an old man. He lives in a small house in the mountains and he has lots of goats. Heidi sleeps in a bed in the attic of the house. She drinks goat's milk and eats bread and cheese. Let's continue. Every day she walks in the mountains with the goats. Her grandfather and her friend Peter. She sees birds and flowers. She's very happy. But one day, Heidi's aunt arrives and takes her to the city. Heidi doesn't like the city, and she is very sad to be away from her grandfather. She is very sad to be away from her grandfather, Peter, and the goats. Heidi has lots of adventures in the city. Now we have read the whole story. احنا قرينا كل القصة مع بعض. And we had some new words like orphan, attic, goats, and mountains, and city, and adventure. Let's know their meaning. First word, it's attic. This is where she used to sleep. ده كان المكان اللي كانت بتنام فيه. What does it mean, attic? Yes, attic, it's a room at the top of a house. هي غرفة في أعلى المنزل. We call it attic. So repeat after me, attic. Attic, again, it's a room at the top of a house. Excellent. Next word, it's called goat. Goat. Yes. What is goat? Goat, right, it's an animal that like sheep. بتشبه الشيب. Third word, it's an orphan. Heidi is an orphan. What does it mean, orphan? Yes, she lives with her grandfather. So, it's a child with no mother or father. Orphan is a child with no mother or father. يتيم. So we call an orphan. Orphan. Adventure. What does it mean, adventure? Yes, an exciting activity. تجربة مثيرة. What does it mean? مغامرة. Adventure. adventure. Right. Heidi lives in the mountains. What does it mean, mountains? As we see, yes, this is the picture of mountains. جبال. Mountains. And here, and then she left with her aunt to the city. What does it mean, city? City. Yes, it's a place with lots of houses and shops. المدينة. Excellent. It's a place where we have lots of houses, كثير من المنازل والمحلات التجارية. Switzerland. سويسرا. This is the country where Heidi lives. Amazing. Then we have these questions on the story. عندنا مجموعة من الأسئلة عن القصة اللي احنا شفناها وقريناها مع بعض. Question number 1 بيقول Where does Heidi's grandfather live? Where does Heidi's grandfather live? Number 2, what does Heidi do every day? What does Heidi do every day? بتعمل ايه كل يوم؟ Number 3, why is Heidi sad in the city? And number 4, what food and drink does Heidi have? Number 5, what are her hobbies in the mountains? What are her hobbies in the mountains? Number 6, what do you think Heidi found difficult about moving to the city? So question number 1 بيسألنا grandfather left where؟ عن المكان اللي كان بيعيش فيها grandfather لهايدي. Number 2, what does Heidi do every day؟ بتعمل ايه كل يوم؟ And number 3, why is Heidi sad in the city؟ ليه هي ما كانتش سعيدة لما راحت المدينة. Number 4, what food and drink does Heidi have؟ كانت بتاكل ايه أثناء ما كانت بتعيش مع جدها. Number 5, what are her hobbies in the mountains؟ كانت ايه هواياتها لما كانت عايشة مع جدها. And number 6, what do you think Heidi found difficult؟ ايه اللي كان صعب بالنسبة لها when she moved the city؟ لما راحت للمدينة. Let's read the story one more time to find the answers for these questions عشان نعرف إجابات الأسئلة دي. So pay attention and listen carefully. Heidi is a story about an orphan girl. She goes to live with her grandfather in Switzerland. Her grandfather is an old man. He lives in a small house in the mountains and he has lots of goats. Heidi sleeps in a bed in the attic of the house. She drinks goat's milk and eats bread and cheese. Let's continue. Every day she walks in the mountains with the goats, her grandfather and her friend Peter. She sees birds and flowers. She's very happy. But one day, Heidi's aunt arrives and takes her to the city. Heidi doesn't like the city, and she's very sad to be away from her grandfather, Peter, and the goats. Heidi has lots of adventures in the city. So after we've read the whole story, بعد ما قرينا القصة كاملة مرة تانية, let's answer the questions. Where does Heidi's grandfather live? Number 2, what does Heidi do every day? Why is Heidi sad in the city? Let's answer number 1. Amazing. Yes. She lives in a small house in the mountains. And she lives with her grandfather. So her grandfather, he lives in a small house in the mountains. Number 2, what does Heidi do every day? Correct. Yes. She walks in the mountains. تمشي في الماونتنز في الجبال. Number 3, why is Heidi sad in the city? Yes. She doesn't like the city. هي مش بتحب الcity and is sad to be away from her grandfather, Peter and the goats. وكانت حزينة إن هي بعدت عن جدها وصديقها بيتر والgoats. Let's continue. Number 4, what food and drink does Heidi have? Yes. Excellent. She has goat's milk, bread, and cheese. Number 5, what are her hobbies in the mountains? Amazing. She walks in the mountains with goats, her grandfather, and her best friend, Peter. Number 6. What do you think Heidi found difficult about moving to the city? Why do you think? We don't have this answer for this question, but I'm asking you to guess. الإجابة ما كانتش موجودة قوي عندنا، بس نحاول نخمن كده. Why does she hate the city? ليه هي ما بتحبش المدينة؟ Yes, maybe because there are a lot of people and it's noisy. وكانت فيها ضوضاء. Okay. We've learned some new words in this story. اتعلمنا بعض الكلمات الجديدة في القصة هنا. We need to know these words to guess the words. Number 1. Animals that are like sheep. Right, it's goat. Amazing. Number 2. A child with no mother or father. Correct. Yes. Orphan. So a child with no mother or father, we call him or her an orphan. Orphan. يتيم. Number 3. A room at the top of a house. This is where Heidi used to sleep. المكان اللي كانت بتبات فيه هايدي. Yes, we call it. Amazing. Attic. Attic. Number 5. Number 4. A place with lots of houses and shops. Yes, true, correct. It's city. Amazing. Now we are going to move to a new part. A new skill. مهارة جديدة لازم نتعلمها، وهي مهارة writing، الكتابة. How to write a paragraph. ازاي اكتب paragraph. But this paragraph will be specific. هنبقى محددين فيه. We are going to write a paragraph about someone in your family. But before we write this paragraph, we need to define. عايزين نعرف يعني ايه paragraph. A paragraph is a group of sentences about one topic or one idea. غالبا الفقرة أو الباراجراف لازم يتكلم عن شخص واحد، دي فكرة واحدة، ما ينفعش نكتب فيه حاجات كتير جدا لأن ده هيكون اسمه مقال. ولكن احنا بنكتب هنا paragraph about one idea، فكرة واحدة or one person. Let's see an example. To make it easier هنكون محددين. So first step لازم أكون محدد what is the paragraph about. الباراجراف هيكون عن إيه؟ We have here the topic of the paragraph اللي هو بيقول لي think of a friend or a person in your family. فكر في شخص في عيلتك أو صديق ليك. يبقى ده المين كاركتر، ده الشخصية اللي أنا هتكلم عليها في الباراجراف بتاعي. Okay? And then try to write questions. أنا محتاجة أعرف إيه عن الشخص ده عشان أكتب عنه paragraph. Let's guess together. Yes? What is his or her name? إيه هو اسمه أو اسمها؟ Amazing. This is the first information I should know. So, what is his or her name? What else? Yes. How old is he or she? كم عمره؟ Amazing. What else? Another question. If I answer to give me some information. لو جاوبت على السؤال ده هيديني إجابة تضيف للباراجراف بتاعي. Correct? Where does he or she live? أين يسكن أو أين يعيش? And what else I can think about? I can think about what is his favorite food? إيه هو الطعام المفضل ليه؟ What's his favorite subject؟ إيه المادة المفضلة ليه؟ What is his or her favorite sport؟ إيه الرياضة المفضلة ليه؟ Yes. So, what is her favorite food? Okay. إيه تاني اللي ممكن إحنا أخدناه؟ In Unit 1 can help me to write a paragraph. Yes, right. I can talk about his or her hobbies. What is his or her hobbies? إيه هي هواياته واهتماماته؟ Amazing. What is his favorite subject? ايه هي المادة المفضلة ليه؟ يبقى احنا دي الكويستشنز دول ممكن يساعدوني ان انا اجاوب عليهم and form sentences واكون جمل and from these sentences ومن الجمل دي اقدر اكون paragraph. But to write correctly عشان اكتب الباراجراف correctly او اي sentence لازم اعرف حاجة اسمها punctuation marks، علامات الترقيم. what are the punctuation marks؟ إيه هي علامات الترقيم؟ Give me an example. I should start any sentence with a capital letter. لازم أبتدي الجملة بتاعتي بحرف capital letter. Okay? And I should start what else with a capital letter? Names. Names of the people. أسامي الأشخاص. أحمد، علي، سامي، منى، آية. All of them should start with capital letter. What else? Cities, المدن, and countries like Egypt, Cairo, South Africa, Switzerland. كل ده لازم أبتديه ب capital letter. What else? Days of the week. When I talk about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, all of these names of the week should start with a capital letter. لازم يبتدي بالcapital letter, etc. And I start the sentence with a capital letter. How should I end the sentence? I should end the sentence with a full stop. الجملة العادية بنهيها بfull stop. And if it's a question, لو سؤال, I should end with a question mark بعلامة استفهام. عشان الجرامر بتاعنا يكون سهل ومظبوط، في جمل أو في words بعض الكلمات بنعتقد إن هي singular، بنعتقد إن هي plural، بنعتقد إن هي جمع، ولكن هي في الأساس singular مفرد. متعودين الجملة أو الكلمة عشان أحولها من singular لبلورال بحط لها s. But does it mean every word ends with s it's plural؟ هل كل كلمة بتنتهي ب s بتبقى جمع؟ No, it's not. Give me some examples. اديني أمثلة كده. Yes. When I say physics, it ends with s, but it's a subject. دي مادة ends with s. So I say physics is my favorite subject. Physics is my favorite, not R. So don't be confused. ما نتلخبطش. Another example, mathematics, رياضيات. Again it ends with S. Yes, it ends with S, but still it's singular. لسه مفرد. So I say mathematics is my favorite subject, is not R. Gymnastics, الألعاب أو الجمباز. I say it is not R. Athletics. All of these words ends with S, but still I say is not R. بعملهم معاملة المفرد not البلورال مش الجمع. Okay. So now we're ready to write this paragraph. دلوقتي احنا جاهزين عشان نكتب الباراجراف بتاعنا على صديق أو family member أو عضو في العائلة نتكلم عن هواياته واهتماماته. Now let's learn how to write a paragraph. تعالوا دلوقتي نشوف مع بعض ازاي اكتب الباراجراف بطريقة سهلة. احنا خدنا من شوية ان انا اقدر اجاوب على questions، ومن الquestions دي اقدر تساعدني ان انا اكتب باراجراف. تعالوا نشوفها بشكل عملي مع بعض. زي هنا ما قلنا يبقى عندنا مجموعة من الquestions. بيقول لي think of a friend or a person in your family. فكر في شخص من عائلتك أو من أصدقائك عشان تكتب عنه الباراجراف. So this is your first step. دي الخطوة الأولانية. وanswer these questions. الquestions عندي what is his or her name? How old is he or she? Where does he or she live? What is his or her favorite food? What are his or her hobbies? And what is his favorite subject? Let's try to answer these questions together. تعالوا نجرب كده ان احنا نجاوب على الأسئلة دي مع بعض عشان to form a paragraph correctly، عشان نقدر نكون فقرة بشكل صحيح. So I choose to talk about my cousin. So think of a friend or a person in your family. So it could be my cousin. Okay. What is his or her name? Okay, I choose my cousin. His name is Amr. Okay. How old is he or she? Yes, he is 14. Where does he or she live? He lives in Aswan. هو بيعيش في أسوان. What is his or her favorite food? I remember his favorite food is pizza. What are his or her hobbies? I do remember he likes reading and football matches. What is his favorite subject? Yes, he likes English. All of these answer. كل الإجابات دي هتساعدني إن أنا أكون paragraph صح. So let's see our paragraph. Now we have our paragraph. It's ready. What's our paragraph here? My cousin's name is Amr. He is 14 years old. He lives in Aswan. His favorite food is pizza. His favorite hobbies are playing basketball and reading books. His favorite subject is English. ولما اتعودنا ان احنا نحدد الشخص او الفكره اللي انا هتكلم عليها في الباراجراف واعمل عليهم questions، يبقى سهل بعد ما اجاوب على الكويستشنز دي ان انا اكون الباراجراف بتاعي بعد ما جمعت الانسرز في فول sentences، في جمل كامله. وكده يبقى طريقه كتابه الباراجراف سهله. عرفنا البانكتويشن ماركس. So I start with the capital letter. اسم عمر O, it's a capital because it's a name, and the name of the city, it's Aswan, so I start with the capital letter and I end the sentence with a full stop. And when I talked about subjects like or a language لغة زي الإنجليش ابتديت ب capital letter because it should be capitalized. لازم أسامي اللغات تبقى capital and then I put full stop. So all of these rules، كل القواعد دي بتخليني أكتب paragraph correctly بشكل صحيح. Let's continue. After we have read our paragraph which we wrote واحنا كتبناه من شويه، تعالوا نكمل بقيه الليسن بتاعنا. الليسن بيبقى فيه هنا عندنا reading. We're going to read a text about حبيبة مرزوق which we need to know which sport makes her happy. حبيبة she plays sport، بتلعب رياضة. We need to know the name of her sport، ايه هي السبورت اللي بتلعبها and why does she like it، وليه بتحبها. Let's start. This is the picture of حبيبة. The title of the text، عنوان التكست بيقول حبيبة مرزوق achieves her dreams، بتحقق الهدف وأحلامها، بتحقق أحلامها. dreams يعني أحلام و achieves يعني بتحقق. تعالوا نعرف أكتر how does she achieve her dreams، إزاي هي بتحقق أحلامها. Let's read together. حبيبة مرزوق is a gymnast. She is 18 and lives in Cairo. She lives in Cairo with her family. Habiba has a very busy life. She goes to school and she studies hard. In the evening, she trains for 5 or 6 hours. So we know from the first paragraph, she's a gymnast, which means لعيبة جمباز, and she is 18 وهي عندها 18 سنة. She lives in Cairo with her family وبتعيش في القاهرة مع عائلتها. حبيبة has a very busy life. عندها حياة مليئة بالactivities والأنشطة. She goes to school, she studies hard, and in the evening she trains، بتدرب for 5 or 6 hours، ل5 أو 6 ساعات. Let's continue. تعالوا نكمل مع بعض. She is a top gymnast in Africa. هي واحدة من أفضل لاعبي الجمباز في في أفريقيا. And she wants to go to the Olympics. وعايزة تروح الأولمبيكس، أولمبياد. Habiba's family always help her. Habiba's family always helps her. دايما بيساعدوها. She eats healthy food so that she can stay strong. Gymnastics is a difficult sport, but it makes her happy. So the question was, what makes Habiba happy or her happy? Yes, it's gymnastics. تعالوا نعرف أهم الwords اللي تعرفنا عليها في قصة حبيبة مرزوق. Athlete. Athlete is a person who plays sport and take part in different game. هو لاعب رياضي وبيشترك في مسابقات رياضية كتير، بنقول عليه athlete. Athletics. Athletics. Like sports، ألعاب رياضية. Athletics. Repeat after me. Athletics. And the text says that she is one of the top player in Africa، واحدة من أهم اللاعبين في أفريقيا. So Africa it's a continent دي قارة we call it Africa. Africa. Gymnast, it's a player who played gymnastics. لاعب الجمباز. Gymnast. busy. busy. مشغول أو مزدحم we call it busy. busy. And we have the word train. train. We knew that Habiba trained for 6 or 5 hours a day, 4 or 5 hours a day, so تتدرب أو يتمرن. We call it train. train. Gymnastics, it's the kind of sport. هي نوع من أنواع الرياضات. We call it gymnastics. جمباز. Gymnastics. And we know from the text that Habiba wants to go to the Olympics. 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 Olympiad. And we know from the text it's a difficult sport. What does it mean a difficult sport? صعبة. The opposite is easy. So we have difficult, difficult, and easy. Now we're going to read the text and try to correct the wrong words or the wrong information. Read again and correct the underlined words. Here we have Habiba is a teacher. Is she a teacher? Number 2. His family lives in Cairo. Is it right? His. And Habiba, she is a girl. Number 3. She eats for 5 or 6 hours a day. Does she eat for 6 or 5 hours a day? Let's see. Number 4. Gymnastics is an easy sport. Is it right? All of these underlined words are wrong. كل الكلمات اللي مكتوبة دي اللي محطوط تحتها خطأ. We need to know the right answer. So number 1, Habiba is a teacher. No, it's not. Yes, she is a gymnast. Gymnast, لاعبة جمباز. Number 2, his family lives in Cairo. His is wrong. So I should use the right pronoun here. Possessive pronoun here, which is her. Possessive adjective here, it's her. Number 3, she eats for 5 or 6 hours. Eats is wrong. Yes. What's the right answer? Amazing. Trains. And we notice here we added S because S, it's a present simple. We should use S with the verb comes with he or she or it. So trains. تتدرب. Number 4, gymnastics is an easy sport. Is it easy? No. We learned from the text it is correct. It's a difficult sport. Right. So here we have the right or correct answers for these questions. So we know from the text that she is a player, Habiba, and we need to know more information. عايزين نعرف بعض المعلومات عن الأثليتس اللاعبين. They say it's athletes work hard to balance their school studies and work, their sport and their friends and family. أي حد بيمارس أو لاعب رياضي بيبقى عنده مشكلة. A problem. What is the problem? To make balance. يعمل توازن. توازن ما بين الستادي المذاكرة بتاعته، الورك لو هو عنده أعمال، or to go and train واللي هو يذهب للنادي ويتمرن. So they work really hard to balance their school studies and work and their sport and their friends and family. وعشان يبقى عندهم وقت للفاميلي والfriends. Now let's revise on what we have learned in the previous lesson. تعالوا نراجع بعض الحاجات اللي علمناها في الدروس السابقة. In this exercise, we are going to complete this text by using these words and verbs, الكلمات وبعض الأفعال like are, goes, is, listen, live, my, our, play, and plays. So we're going to read this text. This text is incomplete. التكست ده مش كامل ومحتاجين to fill in the spaces وهنكمل بعض الفراغات using these words in the box. بعض الكلمات اللي موجودة قدامنا. Let's read together and try to answer and to fill in the space. My name is Lamia. I am 9 years old. I, space, in Aswan with my family. My parents, space we have teachers. My brother Ali, 13 years old, and Khalid is 9. Khalid goes swimming every Friday. I space to music with space brothers. Ali space football and school, and he watches football matches on TV. Khalid, yes, space swimming every Friday. There is a swimming pool near our house. My best friend is called Aya. We, yes, space, basketball at school. We're both in the school team. Space, team is very good. So now we're going to take sentence by sentence and try to figure out. تعالوا نعرف ايه الكلمة المناسبة عشان نحطها في السبيس. First one, my name is Lamia. I am 9 years old. I in Aswan. I do what in Aswan? Yes, I live in Aswan. It's a name of a city, so I live. هي تعيش في أسوان. With my family. My parents, teachers. So I need to have here a verb, a helping verb or a verb here, main verb here. إيه الفعل الأساسي هنا؟ And my parents, plural, so I use are. Correct? Amazing. My brother Ali, 13 years old. And Khalid is 9. So Ali, I used here. Yes, singular. Verb to be, so I use is. Ali is 13 years old and Khalid is 9. Khalid goes swimming every Friday. I do music. I do what to music? If you remember, yes, I listen to music with brothers. Yes, with whom? With my brothers. So I need here possessive adjective. Ali, football at school. What comes before football? Yes, and it's Ali, so it's he. So I use S. So, right. Ali plays football at school and he watches football matches on TV. Let's continue. Khalid swimming every Friday. What comes before swimming? What verb? Yes, goes. And Khalid, we add with go es because it ends with o. Add es مع الverb go. So Khalid goes swimming. There is a swimming pool near our house. My best friend is called Aya. We basketball at school. We at school. Yes, we play. And the last word, we're both in the school team. And I will start with, yes, our team is very good, amazing. So what we have learned today, let's revise. Yes, we learned to read and understand a short story. تعلمنا ازاي نقرأ قصة قصيرة ونفهمها. We learned to write a paragraph about a person in your family correctly. ازاي أكتب paragraph عن عضو في عيلتك بشكل صحيح. And we understand text about a life of a gymnast. تعلمنا وقرينا مع بعض نص عن لاعب جمباز. I hope you enjoyed this episode and enjoyed my time with you واستمتعت بتواجدي معاكم. شكرا ليكم والقاكم في حلقة قادمة مع مادة اللغة الإنجليزية. إلى اللقاء.